You become the first IITian in your family, and suddenly your life stops belonging only to you. Your rank card gets passed around like a national achievement. Your parents start receiving congratulatory calls from relatives who ignored your existence for the last 5 years. Neighbors begin mentioning your name during completely unrelated conversations. And for the first time in your life, you see pride on your parents' faces that feels heavy. Not heavy in a bad way, heavy in the way sacrifices become visible. Because nobody outside your house saw what this actually cost. They did not see your mother quietly reusing old containers because coaching fees were due next month. They did not see your father pretending not to worry while calculating expenses at midnight. They did not see you sitting under tube light at 2 a.m. solving mock tests, while wondering whether one bad rank could destroy everything your family hoped for. People only see the result. Nobody sees the years spent becoming one. And that is the first lesson you learn about success in India. Society celebrates outcomes. Families survive processes. For years, IIT was not just a college in your house. It was a solution. A solution to instability. A solution to financial fear. A solution to social insecurity. A solution to the sentence Indian parents fear the most. हमारे बच्चे का future क्या होगा? That is why the pressure feels different when you are first generation. You are not only chasing ambition, you are carrying expectation without instruction. Because nobody in your family knows how this world works either. They only know it matters. And honestly, so do you. That is why you gave up everything for this exam. Birthdays became after JEE. Movies became after JEE below E. Sleep became negotiable. For 2 years, your entire personality got compressed into one thing: IIT aspirant. And somewhere during that process, you stopped feeling like a teenager and started feeling like a project. Then the result arrives. And suddenly, the suffering feels meaningful. Your house becomes louder than usual. Your mother cries while pretending she is not crying. Your father forwards your result to every WhatsApp contact, including people who probably think G is a railway exam. Relatives begin speaking about you with shocking confidence. हमको तो पहले से पता था ये बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है. No, no, you did not. 3 months ago, you were asking why I looked stressed all the time. But okay, for a few days, life feels magical. You walk differently, food tastes better. Even your coaching institute suddenly behaves like they personally raised you from childhood. Then IIT begins, and within 1 week, your confidence gets beaten with a metal chair. Because this is the first time in your life where being smart stops feeling special. Every student around you was the topper somewhere. Every student was the pride of some family. Every student sacrificed years for this seat. And now all those people have been compressed into one campus, which means the thing that once made you exceptional becomes normal. That realization hurts more than people admit. In school, intelligence gave you identity. Inside IIT, intelligence becomes background noise. Now the real competition starts. Not marks, awareness. You quickly notice that some students understand this environment too comfortably. They already know how internships work, how to build resumes, how to contact professors, how to prepare for coding interviews, how to speak confidently in discussions, how to behave around opportunities. Meanwhile, you are still trying to understand what off campus means without pretending you already know. And slowly, a terrifying thought enters your head. Did I enter this race late? Because you spend years learning how to crack an exam. Some people spend years learning how the world works. That difference becomes visible immediately. They speak English effortlessly, not textbook English, comfortable English, the kind that sounds natural during presentations and interviews. You, meanwhile, rehearse basic introductions in your head before speaking. Not because you are unintelligent, because confidence and exposure are not the same thing. And IIT quietly exposes that gap. Nobody tells first generation students this. before they arrive. The hardest transition is not academic, it is psychological. Your surroundings change faster than your self image. Your ID card says IIT. Your mind still feels like it accidentally entered the wrong building, so you start observing more than speaking. You become aware of everything: your accent, your clothes, your laptop, your communication, your hesitation, even your body language. You laugh less loudly. You think before every sentence. You become careful. And careful people become tired very quickly. Meanwhile, classes continue destroying whatever confidence survived orientation week. Professors teach at speeds that suggest human comprehension is optional. Students around you nod as if they understood Maxwell's equations spiritually. You also nod, because survival sometimes means participating in collective confusion. Then somebody beside you says, "Bro, this is basic." Basic. My brother in capitalism, my school chemistry lab had equipment older than democracy. Please relax. But the real pressure is not academics. Academics are visible. The invisible pressure is worse. It is the constant feeling that everyone else already knows the hidden rules. The internship race starts early, then the coding race, then the networking race, then the LinkedIn race. Ah, yes, LinkedIn. The only place where unemployed students write paragraphs like Nobel Prize acceptance speeches. Every post sounds the same: thrilled and honored to announce. Nobody is ever simply okay. Everyone is humbled, excited, grateful, privileged, delighted, and spiritually transformed after attending a 2 hour workshop sponsored by some startup named after a fruit. You scroll for motivation. You leave questioning your entire existence. And this is where first generation pressure becomes dangerous. Because unlike some students, you do not feel allowed to fail casually. You know what your parents sacrificed to get you here. You know how many conversations about money happen behind closed doors. You know your father still checks bank balances before sleeping. So when someone says, "Bro, just enjoy college life," you smile politely, but internally, you are calculating placement statistics. Because for many middle class students, education is not self discovery, it is economic survival, wearing formal clothes. Every expense starts carrying emotional weight. A pizza is no longer a pizza, it becomes 3 days of mess budget. A cab ride becomes avoidable financial irresponsibility. A new laptop becomes investment. Even asking your parents for money starts hurting, not because they refuse, because they do not. Indian parents will sacrifice silently before they let you feel deprived. And that silent sacrifice becomes guilt, permanent guilt, the kind that follows you into classrooms, libraries, internships, and placement season. That is why first generation students age differently. They start thinking about stability before identity. Other students discuss passion, exploration, finding themselves. You are trying to ensure your family never has to worry about money again. Those are very different emotional starting points. Still, you keep moving. You apply everywhere: clubs, internships, research projects, competitions, case studies, hackathons, and rejection becomes routine. A student club rejects your application. Imagine being professionally rejected by somebody who still asks permission before going on trips. Beautiful experience. At first, rejection feels personal, then eventually educational, because slowly you realize something important. Most successful people are not fearless, they are simply less emotionally destroyed by temporary embarrassment. That realization changes your life. You begin asking questions more openly. You stop apologizing before speaking. You send emails without rereading them 14 times. You understand that communication is a skill, not a bloodline. And then another realization hits you. Many people are not smarter than you, they are just earlier than you. Earlier to exposure, guidance, technology, networking, confidence, environments where ambition felt normal. You were not weak, you were untranslated. And once you understand that, something inside you becomes calmer. Because now your goal changes. You stop trying to belong naturally. You start learning intentionally. You learn how resumes work. You learn how interviews work. You learn how elite spaces operate socially. You learn that networking is mostly conversation plus consistency. You learn that confidence is often just confusion delivered with steady eye contact. And gradually, the environments that once intimidated you begin feeling familiar. Not easy, familiar. That is growth, not becoming fearless, becoming functional despite fear. Then one day, something strange happens. A junior messages you asking for guidance. Someone from your hometown asks, भैया IIT में survive कैसे करते हैं? And suddenly you realize what actually changed. You became the map you never had. That is the true impact of first generation success. Not the salary, not the title, not the LinkedIn announcement. The map. Because now your younger sibling will not enter college blindly. Your cousins will know internships exist before third year. Your family will stop treating corporate jobs like mysterious government rituals. And most importantly, the next child after you will dream with less fear. That is generational change. Real generational change. Not motivational quotes, not billionaire podcast, access, awareness. Translation: India loves stories about students who came from nothing. But what people call nothing is usually parents sacrificing everything quietly. And what people call inspiration is often just survival under extreme pressure. But despite all of that, you adapted. You learned the rules after entering the game. You built confidence while feeling inferior. You entered rooms that were never designed for people from your background and stayed anyway. That is not luck. That is transformation. And maybe that is the real meaning of becoming the first IITian in your family. Not escaping struggle completely, but becoming the first person who understands how to navigate it, and then leaving the door open for everyone behind you.